I'll start the recording. You want to lead today, Ned?
Lead. Do I want to lead? All right. Who wants to say something? I don't really have any updates. I've been gone on PTO. So Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back. And I have been catching up on email, trying to avoid Discord, but catching up a little bit over there, seeing what's going on. We had a developer stand-up meeting this morning. The devs are cranking away. I guess there's some more discussion that needs to take place regarding green threading, which I guess was based on a comment that Greg had made during the last, I guess it was that end-of-year interview-ish kind of thing with him and Christian. And so the devs were a little concerned about his call-out about that, but we need to wait for Greg. I guess Greg is out still, and he's coming back on Monday. So, or that's the first opportunity we'll have with the devs. So we plan on circling back up with him. And that's what I've got. So anybody else? How was everybody's holiday?
I got one agenda item I meant to put on there on the censoring policy. But I had a relaxing holiday, off work, good break, and of contemplating, what we can do to help engage and grow the RChain community in building a community that wants to become part of the network, validate, own rock, and and build useful applications, cooperate in governance, and app development and creating structure. I've been wrapping my head around object-oriented Rolang and trying to wrap my head around functional Rolang. Greg pointed me back to Milner's article, Functions as Processes, from 1990.
I would like to see that link to that article, Jim.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat also.
Hey, Jim, do you know of any of the other developers who are in the collab? Are they doing any kind of dApp development, or have they all just kind of stopped?
Well, there certainly hasn't been a lot of activity in there. I mean, we know that Mr. Money and Jeremy and stuff are working on stuff related to the, what do they call it now? They don't call it the token faucet anymore. They call it something else. And actually, they haven't answered. I forget what it is. But it's sort of like everybody has applications ideas in terms of teams getting together and doing work. It's been really slow. I don't know if there's going to be any people stepping up to the plate to do work studies on their areas yet. You know, I think that's what I'm going to be encouraging. I plan to continue my work on the graph representation, or the graph, the data graph implementation for DID directories, for catalogs of contracts, and organizing our information resources on RChain, both from the personal perspective and the team perspective and more global perspective. And with using a consistent interface or pattern.
You have anything ready to show us?
Yeah, it's sort of good enough to show. I mean, actually, I really need to have applications first. I mean, but just to show you, basically, the function contract is a pattern where I have return, and right now I have steps, which I may take that out. I mean, it really should just be a return and an expression. Make a simple function. Now, the object pattern, we have a class and an instance. Now, the class is the interface that you're exposing. And the instance is really the properties of the object. And I don't really use this for capabilities at this point. I was making it so that the contract associated with each object was very small. The approach that people have been taking in doing objects is that they essentially create new contracts for every instance, for every operation. And here, by this small contract, can call the class, the contract, with the instance, the method, and the arguments. Okay, and then the node pattern, I sort of developed for multiple purposes, but it basically has a new method where you give it sort of a super node. It's like where to look for stuff if it doesn't find it. If it doesn't find the contract in my personal directory, I want to check the team directory, and if it doesn't find it in the team directory, I want to look in the global directory. So it and it looks like this window is dead. No. I have a link as method where you add named links to a node. So it's really, this particular implementation is directed with named links to other nodes. And I have an unlink and I have a get, which there's a properties associated with the node. So the node has links and it has properties. And then I have a set method, and then I have a query method, which recursively looks down the node at a name list, given a name list and a return channel. And so when you go down a link, it goes down by link name, and then it finds the contract associated with that node, and then it invokes the method, the query method, in that contract for the rest of the name list, so that we have a hierarchical, decentralized database with controlled by its own contracts locally. And then I have register methods for the contract and for nodes. So you don't really need to register nodes because if they're pointed to by other nodes. So you really only need a URI for a root node, and that can point to all the other nodes without having to register them. Okay, and then I have some tests here where I create some new nodes, and then I follow the links down, like in this query down here, next end loop, next name, and I put that in standard out to show that how you can traverse the links. And like for a DID directory, from a root node, you could go DID, and then you could go RChain.coop, and then you could go members, and then you could go Discord name or something like that. And that's the kind of examples I want to show where you're using this structure to organize your contracts, your DID identifiers, and we can stitch these together with other people. We can, that's really the next thing, is passing these node references around to others to grant access to our directories. And, questions?
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, and especially thanks for sharing that link to that Milner article. I'd never heard of that, and yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. I'm glad Greg knew about that. But I'll get back with you after I've read that article by Milner.
Yeah, I think I got excited about that about 20 years ago, and I was very glad that Greg pointed it out again. Although maybe I'm not as smart as I used to be. I'm not like Greg's identity, channel-based identity article and this article. Still trying to wrap my head around those.
Yeah, that channel-based identity is a good one, I believe.
Yeah.
I especially like that concluding paragraph in there as far as the implications of this channel-based identity. Where he talks about coming up with a theory of mind and a theory of consciousness using the row calculus.
Yeah, and I need to, figure out how, if I get my head around the functional model of, and Rolang, assuming I can do that, I think the rest of it will make sense.
Well, most of the channel-based security paper was just a restatement of the row calculus, I believe.
Yes, he gave a complete introduction to row calculus in that article. It assumes no previous knowledge of row calculus much, although I think that it doesn't make much sense without some knowledge of the pi calculus,
Right.
calculus. But I guess I don't know. I have some deep thinking to do.
Right.
So you had a good holiday?
Yeah, mine was pretty quiet. I played around with the poll bot that you set up, and I was going to take this opportunity to just show a few things about that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on just a second. Okay, here's the channel called PollBot Lab. This used to be called Test RChain, and I just changed the name of it sort of as a demonstration of how we might use this PollBot. So anyway, my idea is we can turn community intelligence into an action by getting input from the community that causes the PollBot to actually do something. So here in this line at 1206, this is a creation of a poll that will basically, I said 2 yes votes will change the name of this channel to PollBot Lab. Any other combination will end the survey. And then I give it the name NewChan, and the options for the poll are the voter can vote to proceed or to stop, or they can say don't know. So then the poll master reports back with the creation of the poll, and it instructs people how to vote for it. And you get all the nice details about the poll, who's the author, how many participants, and so on. And so in this at 1207, I vote. You vote by entering an exclamation point, the keyword vote, the name of the poll you want to vote in, and what your vote is. And I voted to proceed. And then I had my sock puppet Odom Pladomo vote to stop it. Okay, and they both voted. And my idea is that the robot could actually watch the channels for these reports from the poll master and then take actions to close the poll automatically. So down here, when I close the poll, you get the results out there in the channel. And then it shows 2 participants. One voted to proceed, one voted to stop, and the adjusted vote was 2. So then I export the report for that poll, and you get it mailed to you. Very nice, very convenient text file. and then I created a role, a Discord role called Sock Puppet, so that I could play around with roles, and setting up roles in Discord is very easy. Then I created a new poll that says any weighted vote total greater than 2 will change the channel name. And I gave the weight for the sock puppet role of 5, just to see what it would do. And I created a new poll called RChain. The options are proceed, yes, do it, and change the name. Okay, and then it tells me, well, wait a minute, there's already a poll called RChain. So I redid it with new name is the name of the poll here. And at 2:32, we create the poll new name. There's the poll. It shows the weights here that the sock puppet role will get a weight of 5. Everybody else will get a weight of 1. And then I voted yes. My sock puppet voted, changed the name. So I closed the poll. We get the report. It shows that 2 people voted, 1 yes, and 1 said change the name, and it got a weight of 5, so the adjusted vote total is 6. And at any rate, that just required, it's very easy to use. It's self-documenting. You can get commands to see the documentation. Anybody can use it that is that's on the Colab server. And
hey, Gary, can you go over again how you got that weight to 5?
yeah,
Thanks.
it's real easy. It right here in the line where we created the poll. Let's see. Okay, here in this line at 2:32, the option of W here, weight. I just say the weight option for a sock puppet is 5, and that's it. That's all there is to it right there.
So if we wanted to, we could basically employ like the trust metric here by creating roles of apprentice, journeyer, and master.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking as well.
Cool. Hey, do you remember how much rock this cost to deploy and to cast a vote? Do you have any of those costing?
Actually, we're not even using Rolang at this time. This is a canned app that Jim set up. Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
It runs on a server. It's available to us, but I can see us using this thing to drive our robot and let robot handle any sort of Rolang that needs to be done.
So, Jim, this is like a Discord JavaScript plugin?
It's a Discord bot, okay? All this you have to do is add that bot to a server. You don't have to do anything else.
Okay, so there's like a public domain. It's like adding Poly to Slack, right? It's like a free open source kind of plugin for Discord.
Right, and you know, and this.
So that would be cool to add that, right? So right now, so there's no privacy, there's no immutability. It's all programmed inside of that.
Well, there is we can do things like secret voting, but I know you're talking about something else.
Yeah.
Privacy.
So like this is the type of thing, if I can channel Greg for a minute, this is the type of thing that we really should have a team rewriting in Rolang. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, that would be.
But this is a good way to prototype these ideas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. I think it's really cool. So
this grew out of the RChain EU, the decision support stuff.
Yep.
I was asked if we could do something in Discord, and found this this bot out there, which I think is a pretty reasonable model to go by in creating something ultimately that does run on RChain. And one of the enhancements that we want to do to Robot is attach a Discord identity to a Rolang identity. So because
that's interesting, because you're going to have to pay for it, right? So if I vote, that's going to create a transaction, and it will call into the smart contract, and the smart contract is going to have to pay to cast that vote, which is okay. So that means my identity is probably going to be my public key.
Yeah.
So as a voter, I was kind of thinking to hack the system, tie the weight into how many rock I want to vote. So I can always get my way, but it depends on how much. But now I'm teasing, of course. I know this will be recorded, but so I put this out to the community, right, to the whole Collab community, and if you guys are looking to start creating some dApps that are really cool, I could see totally porting this over and creating your own Rolang version of this.
Yeah, I think the first step though is to actually try to use this for something meaningful.
Yeah.
I was thinking that
even with the limitations in privacy and that we have now, there are things we can do with it that will be sort of, I think, inspirational to the community about how easy it is to get things going that we can actually use as a collaborative tool. I mean, we can just spin these things up, with Rolang now.
So let me put another challenge to the community. Take the RSong architecture, right, which may be a little heavyweight for this, but it's such a scalable architecture. Take the RSong architecture and create your own voting bot in Rolang that interfaces directly with Discord. I think that would be such a win on many levels, right? You could approve the validity of the RSong infrastructure, which, as a template for other apps, which we've been promoting since Berlin. And, I don't really see anybody has taken that challenge up, but that would be great to do that. And take this real world use case that Gary, you so, successfully created in Discord and do that in Rolang.
Yeah, and I did very little. Jim did most of it. But this all comes out of our use of that channel to run the robot and to actually do Rolang code in the channels. I mean, it's like a command line, but it's like a community command line. It's public computing in my mind. It's great.
Yeah. Well, the robot needs some work. The Rolang command itself is broken in terms of its listening on a channel is not working. Or
I may have broken it when I changed the name of that channel too.
No, that didn't affect anything. But it certainly would be great if somebody would do a code walkthrough on the RSong architecture. I don't know if we have any videos in the can that review that, but we should have one if we want people to use it.
There's a lot of documentation, and I believe there's a tutorial. Did Joshi ever get to do that? I know we had wanted to do that before we started really running out of money. Plus, Kayvon is available to help anybody, but I believe he's got a lot of information in his in the docs up on Git. All right.
I'm on mute here. Where do we find that?
I think if you poke around, did Kayvon pin it to the RSong channel? Let me
Active there.
let me take a quick look. RSong. Let's
I don't think.
pin this. RSong demo in Google Play Store. RSong demo. No. If you don't have a link to his GitHub, you could probably just ping him on Discord. That's what I'd recommend.
I see there's on the RChain GitHub is RSong acquisition and RSong proxy.
Yeah, those are part of it.
RSong model.scala.
Yeah. So it's a combination of Rolang and Scala.
So hoping we need some introduction. Joshi and Dror were talking about learning Scala, and I was suggesting that we have a work study on learning Scala, and maybe looking at the RSong proxy. Scala would be a good thing to shoot for in terms of understanding Scala.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering,
one thing I want to share is since I read Greg's quote in that channel Identity, where he says that one of the biggest challenges or one of the biggest problems we have right now is the way the individual interfaces with the collective. And I have heard that quote in the last, 3 or 4 days several times from different people. And I've run it by Joachim at Digital Life Collective, and I hope I'm not premature in sharing this, but he included Greg's quote in his latest design document, and I'm having trouble getting to it right now. But this is in Dig Life and Digital Identity. No, it's not Digital Identity. Oh, there it is. I noticed he included Greg's quote, "We simply must find a way to foster the collective intelligence and facilitate the interaction between the individual and the collective, a behavioral psychology that relates these two," so on and so forth. And then he included the Polanyi quote about an example of higher level reality functioning as a downward causal force is consciousness, intentionality, generating meanings, intentionality, down here at the bottom. Anyway, I thought that might be of interest to the RChain team. And I'll stop sharing. Am I sharing? No.
You're not sharing.
Was I sharing that screen?
No, you weren't.
No. You want to see it?
I think we got it.
This screen?
Oh, we didn't see that. No.
That's what I was trying to show. I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing all the time. But anyway, there's Greg's quote he included in it, and then Polanyi's quote. Okay, I'll stop. I go power mad if anybody ever gives me the share control.
Jeremy, which Jeremy do we got? And Mr. T, how was your holidays? What's on your mind today? Chinido, greetings.
Hey, Mr. T. Hey, Jeremy and Chinindu. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's going around.
Oh, boy. You caught the flu, huh?
We have a community meeting today, right?
Yep. The debrief is in 6 minutes. So I can...
I'll see y'all there.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick break. And so good to be back, everybody. And good kickoff for 2019. I think we've got some really cool possibilities, right? Even just from this conversation today. So.
Yep. Just have to hopefully get some people engaged in doing some good shit. There's a lot of good things we can do.
Absolutely.
All right,
All right.
guys.
Thanks,
Let's go on
everybody.
the committee. Bye.
Bye-bye.